Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Good evening. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Brian Held, how the hell are you, buddy?
Man, dude, it has been such a great week. We have been at Dragoncon.
Is that where we're at?
Yes.
I don't even know where the hell we are anymore.
Well,
There's like 5 hotels. This place is too big.
This place is awesome.
Okay, fine.
Yes, but so I wanted to mention we just got a press release from the media relations folks. The Dragoncon Awards are out.
Oh, did we win?
We did not win. However, the best science fiction novel is Babylon's Ashes by James S.A. Corey, and the best fantasy novel is Monster Hunter Memoirs, Grunge by Larry Correia and John Ringo.
I thought you were going to say something like Babylon 5. I'd have put down the mic and walked out. I'd be done. I'd be done.
No. And, of course, I did post the entire list of award winners on our Facebook page. You can go check that out.
You know, as always, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, you can find us on Spreaker or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. You can also find us on iTunes, YouTube's, and at the WRNO.com.
at the WRNO.com?
Yeah. The
WRNO.com, your new home for Walton and Johnson.
Are you ready to lay out the show?
Yeah, let's lay out the show, and then we'll do Top Nerd News. So what's first?
Top
Nerd News.
Jesus, Dave.
I'm punch drunk. Come on, we're at DragonCon. Shut up.
All right.
They're going to close us down and kick us out.
They are. Top Nerd News, we have an interview with Casper Van Dien, which is crazy.
Yes, and Patrick Muldoon.
Yes.
And that just got off the rails quickly, and it never got back on.
That's true.
But it was fun.
And then our next segment, our normal guest segment, is Kevin J. Anderson.
Author extraordinaire, Dune, Star Wars, all kinds of crap that we love and enjoy.
And, of course, Skungy.
And he was cool.
He was very cool. Skungy is
fired.
still in Vegas. No, he's still in Vegas. He'll be back next week.
I'm going to fire him.
No, you're not. And we're going to close out the show with This Week in Geek History. Are you ready to get started?
I'm always ready. What are we doing? Top Nerd News. Let's go. Top Nerd News is brought to us by whom, Brian?
Top Nerd News is brought to us by QuestCon. That's quest-con.com. That's going to be October 20th through the 22nd out in Mobile.
Yes, they're here at DragonCon, too.
They are, yeah.
We're just pimping away, aren't we?
We are.
All right, what's leading us off on Top Nerd News, man?
All right, well, pretty big news about Nintendo.
They got sued.
They did. They
That's
lost
funny.
a $10 million lawsuit over a Wii remote patent.
How the hell did that happen?
Well, there's some.
So they stole somebody's patent?
Well, it's kind of weird because there's this iLife medical technology company, and they use technology related to the Wiimotes, and so that company sued them.
What?
The Wiimotes, right?
The Wiimotes?
Well,
I just like hearing you say Wiimotes.
Jeez. They originally asked for $144 million. The jury awarded 10. Of course, Nintendo is going to appeal.
That's a pretty catastrophic fall from 144 to 10 million.
Yeah, well, you know.
But so they still stole somebody's technology. And they only had to pay 10 million for it?
That's what they're alleging. So,
well, isn't the Wii U dead anyway? It's defunct. Who cares?
Yeah, but
so somehow they managed to even lose more money on that crappy system.
Yeah, but it's the new one, the Switch, right? That's
the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're just boned.
Right, because I said the Wiimotes. They apply. They're still on the Switch, dude.
Boy, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Nintendo, get it together, man. Hey,
So,
what's his name? Martin Day. It's me, Mario.
Yeah.
He's here at DragonCon too.
He is here at DragonCon. Where'd that come
Everybody
from?
is here.
Everybody is here.
Sorry, I'm punch drunk.
Yes,
I'm a little riddled with ADD and sleep apnea or whatever the hell they call it. Sleep dysphoria. What's next?
Hey, I heard that Lex Luthor has been cut from the Justice League.
Dun, dun, dun. Wait, what? Why?
Yeah.
Because it was horrible in the first one?
It's...
apparently, I read the article. I know what you're talking about. So, apparently, he got downloaded all the apocalypse information and all the, Kryptonian information. But it does not help the fact that he sucked in BVS.
He
But
absolutely
here's the
did.
thing, though. They're probably going to cut him because they got so much going on in the Justice League movie as a whole right now. But here's the thing. He can come back from this. What's his name? Damn it. What's his name?
What, the guy who's playing Lex Luthor?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not it? Okay, so he's got a chance to come back from this because, they literally, Batman beat the crap out of him. He got, he had a mental break when they threw him in jail. So it's possible that he could have a total, personality shift and kind of explain away his crappy performance in the first one and bring him back because apparently he's going to be a key role because he's got all this information and we're going to have to either find some way of just saying, okay, yeah, we beat it out of Lex, so here it is, move the plot along, or they can bring him back and pay him, but I don't know.
Hopefully, if they do bring him back eventually, it'll be better than what we got in BVS because that was terrible, and that's not Lex Luthor.
Well, no, that's right. He was, but I had an affinity with him because he was kind of like OCD and riddled with ADD like me, so I got along with him. I like him.
That's ridiculous.
But it's true. So, maybe if they need to pay him, they can borrow some money from Nintendo or whoever Nintendo paid off.
All right.
We'll do that.
Next.
Let's do that.
Jason Momoa may still play the Crow. Have you heard about that one?
No, but I just heard an audible sigh from all the women in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, Momoa.
Yeah, apparently the Crow has found a new home over at Sony Pictures, and
But Brian, this is a reboot.
it is
We
a
all know
reboot.
your love and affection for reboots.
Well, that's all the news that's coming out of Hollywood. We got to report something. Will you want 10 minutes a day
Hey,
here for
this
this
is what they call a tease in radio, Brian. When we spoke to Kevin J. Anderson, we spoke about reboots.
We did. and
Stay tuned for that interview later in the third segment of the show. Waka waka.
Oh, jeez. But, apparently the Crow movie, the reboot, has been in limbo for a while. And it should
be.
Yeah, but, they're trying to get him on. He's not officially on, but that's the goal. They want to get this guy on there.
I liked The Crow. I liked the first one. The second one I could have done without. But the soundtrack is what really made that movie, too. That and Judgment Night. Judgment Night sucked, but, man, that was a great soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's next?
Well, you were telling me earlier that you listened to a little bit of LeVar Burton.
Oh, yeah. Well, so when I was driving up here, it's like an 8-hour drive from New Orleans to Atlanta. So I downloaded a whole bunch of podcasts. Well, LeVar Burton has a podcast. It's called LeVar Burton Reads. And it's really good. And it's only short stories. And the genre is sort of sci-fi fantasy, but he kind of picks. It's basically, he gives you a story that he really likes. But here's the cool part. So he reads most of it. They do a little bit of voices, but it's all also they have like a soundtrack behind it. So it's completely produced. And they're average about 45 minutes long. And, dude, I just blew through all of Alabama and Mississippi listening to LeVar Burton. And, it kept my attention, rapt attention, which is damn near impossible to do. Yeah. And I stayed on target. Stay on target.
Yeah.
I did it. And so, I strongly recommend it. Actually, before I roll out of here, I'll probably download a bunch more because there's only like 10 out right now.
Okay.
And I've listened to 5, and I think so, yeah. And it's good. It comes out every week. It's technically on Stitcher, and he is always plugging Stitcher Prime or whatever the hell their cool kids service is. I'm not sure what it is. But, yeah, I strongly recommend it. Listen to it.
Well, and
tell him we're looking for him. LeVar, call me.
There's an article, and it's on our Facebook page, and he mentions that it says he chooses the stories based on the perspectives that he finds interesting from the stories. Does he talk about that? Yes,
he does. Actually, at the end of each story, he kind of gives his take on the story. Like I disagree on some of his takes, but that's the cool part. That's what he thinks of the story, and that's awesome. Actually, one of the authors, it's the story is When a Man Falls from the Sky, and it's written by a lady from Africa, Nigeria, but she's also from Louisiana. So we really need to track her ass down and get her on the show.
Yeah.
But it's basically an alternate speculative fiction kind of story. And at the end of it, he just says he enjoyed how, she just looks into, a different version of the future. And then, it gives us her take on it. And it's a black female African in Louisiana. These are takes that, like he even says at the beginning of the show, that it's great to hear a different voice, a different perspective.
Right.
Because it's not what you would normally hear, on the Barnes & Noble shelves kind of thing.
Fair enough.
So, it's about time for a break, man.
Right. All right, guys, when we get back, you're going to hear audio from our interview, our press conference with Casper Van Dien and Patrick Muldoon.
And when you hear the beeps, that's because Patrick Muldoon has a potty mouth, and we're FCC regulated, so no bleep bombs.
Right. So, guys, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Come to Contraflow Sci-Fi Convention October 6th through the 8th at the Airport Hilton in Kenner. Contraflow has writers, artists, and entertainers from all over the country. Vendors, gaming, music, and more at Contraflow October 6th through the 8th. Find us at contraflowsci-fi.org.
September 30th will be your gateway to another dimension at the epicenter for the world's largest ghost hunt. This will be an epic night dedicated to the paranormal curious, hosted by Bar Mon Cher at 817 St. Louis Street in New Orleans. Be present with the Sci-Fi Channel's Brian Cano and psychic medium Scotty Rorick as they guide 100 teams worldwide in this historic National Ghost Hunting Day experience. Get your tickets now at nationalghosthuntingday.com.
Join the adventure at QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd at the Mobile, Alabama Convention Center. We're taking over downtown with great events like our Apocalypse Zombie Experience, Post-Apocalyptic Wrecking Yard, and our Halo Drop Pods. We'll have fantastic guests like Gigi Edgley from Farscape and Paul Amos from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. There will be vendors, artists, and even a Kids Con for the little ones. QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd. Check out quest-con.com for more info.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Speaking of hardcore,
I didn't know we were doing this. Where's Dina?
dude, you were making. I said. Like, we had a counter, right? We had a live feed from the autograph room that while I've been sitting here for 20 minutes, you made $600 in selfie money.
And I was just taking those, and I was paying myself to do that.
Yeah, I know. You're taking selfies of yourself.
I selfies of myself and paying myself.
Right.
I just wanted somebody to pay me.
That's
and
right.
we recorded wonderful stories about you.
Uh-oh.
That's right.
Why you weren't here. So.
Patrick Muldoon would do that. I know that. Sanders got my back.
That's right. You know me, right?
Yeah.
We know each other very well, so you know the mad I've been talking for the past 15 minutes.
I'm so sorry. All of you, I apologize 100%. I completely forgot about you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just like they completely forgot to put me on the Starship Troopers poster 20 years ago.
You were the Starship Troopers?
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. What'd you do in that?
I was Jake Busey. I was playing Ace Frehley.
You know, when we did Starship Troopers, Paul Verhoeven would go, "So Patrick, I need you to go do this," and I go, "It's Casper, Paul."
And then for the same thing for me, he goes, "Okay, Casper, in this scene you're flying the ship." I'm like, No, it's Patrick. He goes, whatever.
We've known each other.
I don't
known each
know.
other before Starship Troopers, so it's so fun. I've gotten to work with him for forever.
I told him I was getting pizza the other day, and you're like, "Hey, dude, you want to be in a werewolf movie?" I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "Alpha Wolf. You get to play Alpha Wolf."
He's like, "Yeah,
I'm like,
all right."
I'm like, "I'm in."
I'm the alpha.
I'm the Alpha Wolf.
Yeah, he's
So
the
we
alpha.
take any opportunity we can to. I don't know if you can call it work, but
But he is renegotiating because he's going to be the poster boy this time.
Oh, he is the poster.
right.
He
actually
was
gonna
in my
use-
movie. He was in my movie Patient Killer, and
That's
and
right.
if it
Is
hadn't
that-
been a
did
lifetime,
you put me on the
it
poster?
wasn't my job.
I wasn't on the poster of that either.
I think you are in the poster. I think they did one of those like little, when they put the headshots of everybody. But it's mainly
cool.
Victoria Pratt.
Right.
It mainly her.
But that's cool.
And maybe it was Barbie.
Turbulent skies. Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I have a question about Con Man.
I have an answer.
All right,
Not
I
only
ran-
one, so it better be a good question.
All right. Well, I ran into PJ Harsma at
I love
Pentagon.
PJ.
Yes,
Con Man.
and he said that your character's very special, and I wanted to ask you: is he a clone? Does he teleport? Is he a figment of Ray Neely's imagination?
Yes.
All right. fair
And
enough.
no, not at all.
Not at all.
And absolutely. And if you really think about it on a cosmic level,
Twice.
yeah, that's fine.
Fair enough.
What you said, only twice.
Yeah.
Multiplied by something. But math is hard. 'Cause
Right. We're not mathologists.
at
Yeah.
all.
Are you in for season 3?
I am.
Nice.
It's
And-
season 3.
and I'm
of
trying to get him in on it.
Con
Well, I hear everybody's trying to get in on it.
Everybody should get in on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that, it's actually fun when you get to work with Alan's, he's got a crazy mind. And he's got something sexual going on right now. This is Patrick. I'm not
It's
gonna
just, I
say
just have to let it pass through.
Yeah,
It's
like
it's gotta
gas.
pass through.
Like gas.
Like gas. It comes
Goes,
in.
goes, and sometimes you don't want to know that it was there.
Right.
And if you can get by without it being there, then you're all right. Alan's incredible. He's an actor. He's an incredibly talented actor. You've seen him in so many different things, and then he's got all this, he's got all this wealth of information from being on different sets, and then he's a voice actor, but then he wrote all this, and he wrote it from his experiences, and I think he honors everybody that goes to cons, from the fans that love being in here, and the actors that love coming to him, because there's some that don't, and there's some, but you really, he doesn't make fun of them. He makes fun of everybody, and he honors everybody, and he really makes it. And the fans put the money in for this, and they really loved it. And it's one of the most awe-inspiring things to be a part of. And when he called me up and said, "Hey, I got the perfect part for you, Casper. We want to be in?" I'm like, "Sure." He goes, "Great. You don't have any lines." And I'm like, "And I'm perfect for it."
Words.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not about the. What's
I'm
the
not a
first-
wordologist.
We're not
Wordologist.
wordologists. What's the first thing they tell us in acting class? Not about the words.
It isn't about the
It's
words.
how tan we are.
Yes. So, but season 2, I have words.
Yes, you do.
And they were funny.
Yes.
Not because I wrote them, because I didn't.
Right.
But
he said
Alan
them.
wrote it. He writes it.
He said
He
them.
wrote it. He writes it. He wrote it.
He
He wrote it right.
He wrote that.
Follow up on a different tag. You're doing some directing as well.
Did you say tank?
tag?
Like my career?
No.
Oh man!
Who wrote that?
What are you trying to say?
Casper directed me in a movie called Patient Killer.
I did.
And this is not because he's sitting next to me, because we take every opportunity to pee on each other metaphysically.
Not literally. No, that only
Not
happened once.
metaphysically. Right, that happened.
That was an accident. We never
was in the
crossed
shower.
streams.
Best TV movie I've ever done, right?
Mm-hmm.
He directed. So very talented director.
Well,
and
thank you. And I wouldn't have got. I got a best director at the San Francisco Film Festival, and I got a best picture at the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival, but only because he was the actor in it.
It's not true.
And I called for him, and I asked him to do this part where they normally not cast him because he's a good-looking man, and he's macho and all this, but it was a character part, and they wanted a character actor, and I'm like, no, you want Pat. And they're like, why? And then when they got him, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know he could do that. And I'm like, yeah, I've known him for 25 years. And every once in a while, I'd come up to him and go, remember this and this in your past, in your life? And he goes, you're a real I can't believe you just brought that up. I'm like, yeah, but use that in the scene. he's like, I still hate you right now. But it was awesome.
Yeah, because he called me and it was read the script. The part's perfect for you. So I figured it was like the boyfriend guy in the, there's always like some bad guy or something, the formula, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm the boyfriend who gets beaten up or something, and, or you're either like the gentleman rapist or the,
is there any other kind? It's a Lifetime. We're talking Lifetime. Lifetime. It's not us. We don't do this. You can't. Feminists cannot get mad at us. This is Lifetime that creates the gentleman rapist, not us. And also General Hospital with Luke and Laura.
Right.
She married him.
He raped her. Are you kidding?
Yeah. No,
that's real. Luke
raped Laura in the TV show that was General Hospital.
Are you kidding?
And then they got married. And
that doesn't work.
That's soap opera.
To me, that's not good. I know that Luke and Laura was like the biggest thing ever.
It was.
Right?
Next to Starship Troopers.
That even makes, next to Starship Troopers, which is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
I hate to do this because you guys are hilarious, but
no.
only time for one more question.
They didn't even get to ask questions. We didn't let them. And when they did ask questions, we didn't answer any of them. Honestly. It's not fair. And I was late.
I haven't, and just so you know, I've had so much Papa John's.
Okay, quick, go.
I got a question. Could you guys just riff for another 20 minutes?
Yes, we should. Yep, quick.
What was voice acting like?
Voice acting was so good. It's the same as doing the reg star. It's like doing everything else. It's just me talking words, and words are really hard.
Just your favorite role.
My favorite role, besides Starship Troopers?
Besides Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers 3.
Yes.
Do you feel like Starship Troopers was too far ahead of its time for real commercial success?
Yes.
Yes.
And no, because it's still successful today. Exactly. I can't go anywhere without somebody going, Rico! And I'm like, you know what to do. And they're like, Rico, what are you doing here? And I'm like, getting tampons. I have daughters and a fiance. They're not for me! Really? Jeez! Why do you guys look at me like that?
That's Casper's fiance going back there going.
It did seem like it was ahead of its time, and a lot of people at the time seemed to miss the satirical elements to it.
Yeah.
What sort of
including Pat.
I'm
not kidding.
It's the 20th anniversary. It's the 20th anniversary, and I watched it in the theater with Casper a couple weeks ago.
And he goes, wait?
I go, dude, it's a comedy.
I, on the other hand, did read the script, and I realized that this was being done by the same guys that did RoboCop. This is like the major satire film.
I'm like, dude, why don't you tell me we were shooting a comedy?
Bugs, yes. I still get there. Go, Dad, bug, and I'm like, oh my God.
Do your part.
Come on, guys. I'm like, no, Dad, you're Rico.
And all my little cousins and nephews and nieces come up to me and say, Uncle Patrick, someday someone like you is going to come back here and kill your whole
No, they don't.
I say the only cuss word in the movie.
Yes, he does.
Someday someone like here will come back and kill your whole race to the brain bug before he sucks my brain out.
Which is every guy's wet dream, by the way. That's the best way to die. He's had the best on-screen death of anybody ever in the history of film.
Right.
I mean, come on. Every guy wants to go like this, go. And they die. Every guy. There's not one guy that's alive. And if he says that he doesn't want that death, he's lying to you. Because that's how we all want to go.
Casper and I both read the script.
He got to do it.
Casper and I both read the script before we did the movie, and we're like, wow, you get your brain sucked out. And we both looked at each other and said, yeah, it's not the first time for either of us.
What brains?
The 90s were great. Yeah. The 90s were a blast.
What 90s?
All right. What night? 1890s.
Are we still there? 1890s. Sorry, that was one great question.
Yeah.
I you answered.
Next, for the next year, Casper and I will tell you how we met each other in a foxhole in WW2. Until then.
WWE.
Right. Safely.
Come to Contraflow Sci-Fi Convention October 6th through the 8th at the Airport Hilton in Kenner. Contraflow has writers, artists, and entertainers from all over the country. Vendors, gaming, music, and more at Contraflow October 6th through the 8th. Find us at contraflowsci-fi.org.
September 30th will be your gateway to another dimension at the epicenter for the world's largest ghost hunt. This will be an epic night dedicated to the paranormal curious, hosted by Bar Mon Cher at 817 St. Louis Street in New Orleans. Be present with the Sci-Fi Channel's Brian Cano and psychic medium Scotty Rorick as they guide 100 teams worldwide in this historic National Ghost Hunting Day experience. Get your tickets now at nationalghosthuntingday.com.
Join the adventure at QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd at the Mobile, Alabama Convention Center. We're taking over downtown with great events like our Apocalypse Zombie Experience, Post-Apocalyptic Wrecking Yard, and our Halo Drop Pods. We'll have fantastic guests like Gigi Edgley from Farscape and Paul Amos from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. There will be vendors, artists, and even a kids' con for the little ones. QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd. Check out quest-con.com for more info.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now.
Inconceivable!
Follow The Week in Geek on Instagram at The Week in Geek Radio Show.
Ha-ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Here's David and Brian.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is Brian Held with
D Squared.
And we are joined by international award-winning and New York Times bestselling author Kevin J. Anderson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. I had one cup of coffee, so you can only get that much of articulateness out of me for this morning. and it is Dragoncon, so there's a lot of other stuff going on. So.
Of course, we are at Dragoncon. So, tell me, what's I believe you had some Dune books that came out recently. Is that your most recent work right now?
Yeah, right now. I've written a lot of Star Wars books and X-Files books and Batman and Superman, but some of the stuff I'm doing right now is with Frank Herbert's son, Brian, and we've written a lot of prequels and sequels to the great classic novel Dune, which is my favorite science fiction book of all time. And just last week, a paperback version of Navigators of Dune came out, and we also, in a smaller press, just published a book called Tales of Dune, which is all the Dune short stories that we've written. So they're both out. It's kind of Dune month, although Dune is kind of dry and sandy, and New Orleans isn't having too much of a dry month right now. But.
No, we're pretty wet, especially with the pumps being out in New Orleans. It's a little moist. So, one of the things that we talked about recently on our show, of course, all the new Star Wars movies are coming out, right? And there's that young Han Solo movie, and Dave made a reference to what was that?
Well, all right, Tales from Mos Eisley. So there's rumors that a Jabba the Hutt movie is going to be coming out, and of course, they've thrown out all the stuff as canon, and now we've got all this new stuff. Has anybody approached you about maybe redoing something like that?
I'm trying to get my head around a Jabba the Hutt movie, sort of like a teen romance kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little slimier,
Yeah, a little bit like that. I haven't heard about that one one of the books I did for Star Wars and Lucasfilm was Tales of the Mos Eisley Cantina, which is basically short stories of all the characters in the cantina scene. Like why does the bartender hate droids, and who's the guy with the death sentence on 12 systems, and why was Greedo such a bad shot when he was a bad shot. And see, Star Wars is always kind of a moving target. It changes a little bit as people work on it. So you mentioned about them throwing out all the canon. It's I'd be a little kinder than that, just because they sort of changed hands, and anybody who's been in movies and TV and stuff like that, how many times Batman has been rebooted and Superman's been rebooted and Star Trek has been rebooted and everything else. So with Episode 7 for Star Wars, they just sort of Disney bought Lucasfilm, and they're taking off on their own path in their own universe, but they're still keeping all of the old books in print. So it's like the DC universe, it's Earth 2 and Earth 1 and different versions of it. So, but to answer your question, I haven't been asked to do any more of it. It's actually kind of helpful for me if they're going to reboot it, because then I don't have to go back and do homework on the 150 other books that have been published.
Well, that kind of leads me to my other question. Like Grand Admiral Thrawn, my personal hero, he made it back in Star Wars Rebels. So is there any kind of characters you're hoping to see them pluck from your books?
Well, certainly hoping for it. I've had, Admiral Dala was one of my big ones, and Kip Duran, and I've seen in like the Clone Wars TV shows, they've used bits and pieces of my books, some of the creatures that I created. But it's all theirs, and that's what you have to understand. That when we are writing for Star Wars, it's just like when some guy writes a script for the Star Trek TV show. You don't own that. You've done your work for hire. Lucasfilm owns it, or now Disney owns it, so they can pick and choose whatever they want. If they like a ship that I created, if they like an alien that I created, it's part of their toy box that they can play with. And now I'm just kind of a fan. I can sit back and watch, and Rebels comes on, I go, oh, well, that was from one of my stories, or they've used that off and on.
So while we're talking about Star Wars, we were told to ask you about an interesting theory you have in regards to droids, Ewoks, and C-3PO. You want to elaborate on that?
You say no.
Yeah, I could say. Well, it was an interesting theory. I wrote a book called The Illustrated Star Wars Universe, where it's sort of a National Geographic for all of the Star Wars planets. And this was, I don't know, 96 or something like that. And I think the Ewoks are just sort of a little bit too cute, and they're cute, and you watch them and they kind of bumble around and they manage to overthrow the Imperial troops. But I was trying to think, well, there's got to be a reason for this. They're not just cute. What is this? And I came up with this whole thing where that they were bred to be cute, that they were like genetic teddy bears, and they were kept as pets for like wealthy alien nobles or something like that. And my whole theory was that this ship carrying a bunch of these teddy bear Ewoks crash landed on Endor, and it killed the crew, and the only thing that survived was a droid like C-3PO, and he taught the Ewoks how to be feral and survive and build their tree houses, and so over the generations they have become feral, but they're still cute teddy bears, and that's why they revere the golden droid, because that's the one that taught them how to survive.
That is the greatest theory ever.
Yeah, because now it makes sense. They're supposed to be cute. They were bred to be that way. So it's just a beautiful and wonderful, and all the threads tied together. And I presented it to Lucasfilm, and they said, no, they're just cute.
Well, they can't sell them if they got like razor sharp claws and teeth and maul little children in their sleep. But
they could sell them to me.
Well, yeah, I'd buy them.
One of the things that we talk a lot about on the show is reboots. Right, and how is how
water just came out your nose laughing on that one.
Is how Hollywood doesn't have any more original ideas, right? That they just keep rehashing, and yet you, as such a prolific author, have given us so many worlds to delve into. What, in your opinion, can we as fans do to get Hollywood to get out of that reboot track and get some original material in there?
Well, there's still an awful lot of original material coming out, but some of the reboots, especially like the superhero reboots, and I think some of them they do wonderfully and some of them they don't. For instance, when I'm going to get off on my soapbox here because I grew up with Batman and Superman, and in fact I wrote a book called Enemies and Allies, the very first meeting of Batman and Superman, and I did The Last Days of Krypton, which was the story of how Krypton was destroyed, and Jor-El and Lara and the Phantom Zone. So I live this stuff and I know this stuff, and I know who Superman and Kal-El is, and I know who Batman and Bruce Wayne are, and when I saw the Man of Steel movie, I just went, you don't get Superman at all. He's not this grumbly, groany, lost soul that walks the earth and doesn't want to help anybody. That's not Superman. Make up your own superhero if that's what you're going to do. So what I don't like is when they reboot of the Fantastic Four, which I see you both shuddering. I mean, that was just like, no, you don't get this at all. And maybe it's because that this was so much a part of my childhood that I grew up and living with the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and actually I haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, but that looks like they finally got geeky little teenage kid Peter Parker. I didn't at all like the previous reboot, like Andrew Garfield. Well, he's fine as an actor, but the whole story that Peter Parker was a genetically engineered mutant so that he was designed to, at some point in his teen years, be bitten by a radioactive spider so he can turn into a super weapon. I'm like, guys, read the comic books. Be true to your source material, but that's just because it means so much to me, I guess. But as far as original, they keep doing original ideas, but but the reboots are also, people want to see a new Batman. They want to see a new Spider-Man. And speaking of that, I mean, there's very serious talk now about redoing Dune, which is one of my favorite things, and to do Dune in the span of time that it needs to be done, rather than a 90-minute movie like David Lynch did it, and with modern-day special effects instead of like sock puppets for sandworms. I would love to see that, but you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You just see what's going on.
So we're getting close to a commercial break. So let me just wrap up. You're not just an author; you're also a publisher, and you have Wordfire Press. What new is coming out there that we can expect in the near future?
Well, Wordfire Press is sort of a small press, but we're using brand new technology. What's changed now is that you can deliver your own ebooks. You have books they're called print on demand. So you order a book and they print it and they ship it. So that it's a monumental change in that you don't have to print up thousands of copies and stick them in a warehouse. You could just print them to order. So we're doing a lot of, all of my old backlist books, and a lot of my big science fiction writer friends have brought me their books, and we do some original things. So it's just wordfirepress.com is the website. In fact, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free one of my novels in there. It's just, and I'm teaching writing seminars and doing public speaking, and I'm just launching a podcast. And I mean, what else do I do with my spare time? I go to Dragoncon, I guess. So.
Nice. So everybody can keep up with you on wordfirepress.com, right?
Well, and wordfire.com, they're just two different ones. And sign up and follow me there.
That's fantastic. Mr. Anderson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Come to Contraflow Sci-Fi Convention October 6th through the 8th at the Airport Hilton in Kenner. Contraflow has writers, artists, and entertainers from all over the country. Vendors, gaming, music, and more at Contraflow October 6th through the 8th. Find us at contraflowsci-fi.org.
September 30th will be your gateway to another dimension at the epicenter for the world's largest ghost hunt. This will be an epic night dedicated to the paranormal curious, hosted by Bar Mon Cher at 817 St. Louis Street in New Orleans. Be present with the Sci-Fi Channel's Brian Cano and psychic medium Scotty Rorick as they guide 100 teams worldwide in this historic National Ghost Hunting Day experience. Get your tickets now at nationalghosthuntingday.com.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Follow them on Twitter at TWIG Radio. Do it now!
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is Brian with
D Squared.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, coming into the home stretch. Are you ready for?
I don't know what I'm ready for, man. I'm fried.
We are so
yes,
fried. Yes.
This week in geek history. Let's do it.
This week in geek history.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my gosh!
All right, Brian, who's this week in geek history brought to us by?
It is
This
brought
week
to us.
in geek history.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
This week in geek history is brought to us by Contraflow.
Contraflow.
Yes.
The
And that's-
literary convention in your neighborhood.
Yes, most definitely.
Is
It's
that their
gonna be,
tagline? I don't think it is.
It is not. October 6th through the 8th, and it's going to be out in Kenner.
Come on, keep it together.
Yeah, I'm
Keep
sorry.
it together.
So, contraflowsci-fi.org for more information.
Do they spell sci-fi correctly, like SCIFI, as opposed
they do.
to our
Sci-fi?
Sci-fi? Yeah.
Right, yeah. No,
so they got it right. A literary convention spelled something right.
Of course they did. All right. My first date. Are you ready? It's
ready.
August 28th, 1844. The Count of Monte Cristo is first published in the journal. I can't. That's French. I can't pronounce it.
Why would you give me a week in geek history of something you can't pronounce?
Yeah, well. Anyway, it was
Of
in
Le
18
Babinou Poo-Poo.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it was published in 18 parts, and I really like the movie.
18 parts?
Yeah, 18 different parts.
Boy, that puts like Stephen King's serials to shame, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see. The most popular English translation will be published in 1846.
Wow.
But it's such a great movie.
So what is the sandwich based off of it? No?
I have no idea. That's so terrible.
Well, you were saying you liked something about it. What the hell were you talking
The
about?
movie.
The movie. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you going to tell me you like the movie version better than a book? We can't be friends.
I honestly haven't read this book.
Neither have I. I just want to bust your balls. All right, what's next?
August 28th, 1917. Normally, we don't do birthdays in history, right? But this is the birth that he would have been 100 for Jack the King Kirby, right?
Okay. Well, all right, we'll make an exception.
Exactly.
It's one time.
So, and man,
Until somebody else comes along.
They did such a good job with Doctor Strange, kind of imaging, his image of Doctor Strange from the 70s that he created and stuff.
Yeah.
What they put on the screen, it was fantastic.
Well, I got I'm pretty fairly certain that some of the producers and directors of Doctor Strange just dropped some LSD, just as field experiments, or just so they can get a different perspective. I'm sure they wrote it off too. Did they call your local government contractor? Hey, we need to test some stuff out.
Are you saying their LSD dealers give them receipts?
They might be. I don't know. I have yet to meet a drug dealer who gives receipts. But hey.
All right.
FCC, don't listen to this.
Yeah.
Moving on.
August 31st, 2009. Speaking of Doctor Strange and Jack the King Kirby, this is Walt Disney Company announces that it's reached a deal to acquire comic book publisher Marvel Entertainment for only $4 billion.
Just the low price of $4 billion.
Yeah, I mean, by this point, they've easily made that back.
Weren't we all kind of like really PO'd back when that deal went down at first? Weren't we all kind of just like, oh my God,
I wasn't.
You weren't?
But there were a lot of people who were totally PO'd. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I remember a lot of the cool memes that popped up, I think they had back in the glory days of 4 years ago, like everybody's like, oh, Mickey Mouse and Spider-Man are going to be besties. But that never worked. Stupid Sony.
Yeah. All right. Next item. What's our time?
We're doing great.
Okay. Next item on my list is September 1st, 2005. Webcomic XKCD launches when creator Randall Munroe decides to scan his old school doodles. So, have you ever read XKCD?
Yeah. No. Old school doodles. I like that. That's going to be the name of our new band. Old school doodles.
Yeah, no, it's a very nerdy webcomic. It's pretty deep on the far end. I find it amusing, but
well, of course you would.
You probably would hate it.
You probably even like that show, The It Crowd. I'm waiting.
After this show, I'm totally kicking your butt. All right.
No, you can't, because we got to go do another interview.
You're right, we do. All right, next item on my list, and this is good in light of our interview last week.
All right.
September 2nd, 1980. California Pacific Computer Company releases the role-playing game Ultima 1 for the Apple II computer.
My old Apple. I love my old Apple IIe.
Yeah.
Green and black. Those are the colors of my childhood, Brian.
Yeah.
Green and black.
Yeah. But Star Long from last week, right?
Correct.
He was the director for this. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Last one on my list here, September 3rd, 1993. I saw this one, and I thought it was interesting when we mentioned that Nintendo lawsuit. InfoGear files an application for a U.S. trademark on iSpace phone, right?
iSpace phone.
Yes, for its but like
Yeah, I know.
Space, yeah.
Right.
And it was for some communication terminals comprising computer hardware and software providing integrated telephone data. Blah 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 blah. It also filed for a trademark for iPhone, and those two patents raised legal issues in January of 2007 when Steve Jobs made the announcement.
I was wondering when did Steve Jobs swoop in and jack somebody's stuff? That's my question.
Yeah, Apple probably just bought him out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did Steve Jobs get an eye coffin? Is that what? Did he get one?
Oh, that's messed
No,
up, dude.
my father-in-law actually did a costume. This was awesome. He did an eye coffin as Steve Jobs, and like little 8-year-olds are like, "Oh my God, it's Steve Jobs!" It's like this random cosplay in New Orleans on the random street in New Orleans, and like 8-year-olds are like, "Oh my God, Steve Jobs!" They got it.
That's
See,
crazy.
he transcended age. I should take more notes from him.
You should. You ready for some birthdays?
I'm always ready for birthdays.
All right, on the 28th, Amanda Tapping from Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
On the 29th, Carla Neal Gugio. She was, what was it? Sally Jupiter in her Watchmen. She was Lucille in Sin City.
Yeah, I don't know. I started to rewatch Watchmen again.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's kind of starting to grow on me again, but I don't know.
Yeah. But
I just still like the comedian, you know, Negan as the
right.
comedian.
On the 30th, actor, comedian, writer Louis Black. Yeah.
Moving on.
No, I like that guy. I think
I'm sure you do.
Yes. 31st, Chris Tucker.
Damn, that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruby Raj. We just saw somebody cosplay as Ruby Raj.
We did.
Super green.
Super green.
What's next?
On the 2nd, Keanu Reeves.
It's just too easy.
Yes.
Moving on.
And also on the 2nd, nerdcore rapper MC Chris.
Yeah. Wasn't he at Contraflow?
You know, I don't.
I think he might have been. But, you know, funny segue, Contraflow.
Right.
When is it again?
Contraflow is October 6th through the 8th at the Kenner Hilton Airport.
Yeah. Kenner Hilton Airport.
Dude, look, it's we're at Dragoncon.
I know.
And I'm fried right now.
All right, you ready to wrap this show up? Come on.
Yeah, so how can folks find us?
As always, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website, twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to hear your favorite part again, you can catch us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. You can also find us on iTunes, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com. And next week, our guest is Mark Meir, the voice of Commander Shepard from Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And who is that from? Somebody hooked us up?
That's going to be FIFOCon is hooking us up.
Oh, yeah, but
yes.
up in the BR.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also coming up soon, the Halloween weekend.
Yeah, man, October's going to be like the gauntlet of death for us.
It is.
So, all right, guys, we got to get the hell out of here. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.